This story is called Pre-Bus Confessional. I see you over there, long body draped against the bus pole, hands in your pockets, too cool for everything you see. Your eyes are darting everywhere, but we both know the truth. You'd rather be staring at me. And who could blame you? My eyes are honey, my hips are warm biscuits, my lips peach slices that could bring you to your knees. I am sin and sweetness, all of it, wrapped into a package that's just out of reach amid a score of bodies on a lurching, whirling universe. I'm not what you think I am. I would never give you my true age, but if you got me talking, you might find out that I'm closer to 30 than you'd think. I tell you, I'm smack dab in my prime, old enough that my past has taught me what to do, young enough that my future keeps me guessing, innocent enough to never assume what you're thinking, confident enough to stare right back. And who are you? I think you're early 20s. You're strong, but not so much that it kills your softness, which is inside, wrapped like a glove around your heart that ticks and talks, revs and slows. You're young, so your adrenaline is everything, wired to explode at any moment, to grab opportunity when it lands in your path. The buttoned-up shirt and creased trousers are just shiny wrapping paper. Despite your corporate job, you're an artist at heart. Maybe there's a scar on the tip of your shoulder blade that you'd give some strange answer about, like, that's for another day. But in reality, your cousin hit you with a BB gun when you were 12, or you had a mole taken off. Or you'd surprise me with some answer involving a flying bullet, someone's honor saved in exchange for a blade swipe. It's a hard story to tell when you don't know the person asking. Say you walk over to me. What do you ask? Hey, what time is it? Hey, do you know where this bus ends? Hey, I saw you over there looking at me. You got plans tonight? Hey, you're beautiful. Nah, none of that. You're silent and calm. Maybe we don't have anything to say. We just lock eyes and smile, get off at the same stop, start walking close to each other. You're a little in front of me, say, and then you realize how close we are and look over your shoulder. You slow so I can meet your stride, and we walk next to one another, perhaps so close that our fingers brush. The sunlight shines golden, warm, and wonderful. Except it's not sunny today. It's raining like baby piss. Of course it is. It's April 24th, the day I hate the most in the whole fucking year, because I don't want to think about what happened, how helpless I was, staring at the numbers 2, 4 on the calendar on the wall, wondering if anyone would ever find me. Each year I want there to be something that will take my breath away, make me forget once and for all. Maybe this time it's you. Let's think of where we'd go. If you ask me, I'd say that little Italian restaurant, squashed between the movie theater and the tapas place. The one that used to be in the old house, but has moved and changed, somehow staying intrinsically the same. I love places that transform like that. So Baltimore. I like to think that I've transformed too. That's what brought me here, connects me to the city like ligaments and tendons. I didn't always appreciate what I am, see myself as this luscious being. It took Baltimore for me to see it this way, and now I'm just waiting for the person who will get it too, who will take the burrs and thorns along with the juicy sweetness. One day I was in the house I called a prison. Well, I don't want to tell you too much, really. We've just met. But suffice it to say, I was Googling places to live, and this came up. I really don't mind the grit. Isn't that what all the cool people say? Of course you know that Italian place, and maybe we sit at the bar and sip a cocktail. Scratch that, you order beer. You don't want to get that drunk. Probably Peroni, because it's an import, not something American and boring like Coors or Budweiser. I get a glass of wine, even though I want a Manhattan. Man, I used to chug those babies in high school. My best friend's father made them so sweet, full of juice from a little cherry jar. I remember how he tipped it over, let the saccharin drip, drip, drip out, one finger holding in those tiny morsels. Once he dangled one over my mouth, let its skin trace my lips, and I'd opened. Oh, forgive me, how crass am I bringing up a former paramour? Well, that doesn't describe it exactly, or does it? I'm never too sure how to describe. Anyway, I want to hear about you. Of course, you came to Baltimore for work. Maybe you're a Johns Hopkins grad, hooked by the good you could do in the city. It completely makes sense that you're from a family with a single mom. That's why you understand everything before I say it, why you get the world around you so well. I know you'll understand me, why I had to do what I did in my life, while I'm still here gritting my teeth, getting up on another day. My mom was a single mom too, a massage therapist. She had the softest hands from all that cocoa butter, from rubbing tension away. It's funny though, it's like she took it all into herself. and she was so busy. 12-hour days, lots of blue box mac and cheese, not even Kraft, the generic one. I used to book appointments just to spend time with her. I'd complain about a bum elbow, a sore knee, just to feel her touch. She'd never find anything wrong, and she'd sigh as if she didn't want to be on to me and say, "Delilah, these are for clients, they pay." She told the office assistant to stop taking my calls. I was 12 and I didn't know what else to do, and that's when I started hanging out with Malcolm. Oh, forgive me, Malcolm was my friend's dad, the one I mentioned before in high school. This is the part where I look at you, but you're still engaged, your eyes locked on mine. And I toss my hair over one shoulder, the locks that have always been limp spaghetti, but let's just say they're tumbling princess curls, and say something witty like, "Past history, right? The present, wait, no, the future is where I'm focused." And you say, "I mean, who doesn't have a past?" We laugh and keep our eyes on one another, and we both take sips of our drinks, because what else can you do when chemistry is strong? When we order another round, you mention that you came here for someone, a girl. It might take a minute before you reveal that, but of course, you call her by name. It's disrespectful not to. Claire, or Sophie, or Priya. She's brilliant, probably Ivy League, lots of scholarships, came here for grad school, you followed like a sick puppy, or that's what you would illustrate. I can't stop looking at how one of your front teeth crosses slightly on top of the other. I watch your hand slide on the beer bottle, holding it in your fingers, not clenched in your palms, so delicate, like a dove. Malcolm taught my hand to slide like that. He showed me, first on my breasts, squished together in the push-up bra I got especially for him. The bra was hot pink, and it looked so ridiculous against his tan sheets, and I instantly regretted everything until his hand moved between them as if he was parting the seas. It was the most exquisite touch I'd ever felt, and I melted right there, a pool of girl parts on the sateen. Back then, my nipples were raspberries he plucked, opening at my legs soft as dough. Your eyes seem a little freaked. Oh no, I said too much. But you shouldn't worry, it took a long time to get there. I was, 16? No, maybe 17. Yeah, I think I told Malcolm I had to wait until I was 17. That's when I had a sugar cube's worth of control. But it had been building years before, like when he'd come up behind me and I'd feel his warm, damp palm against the promise of my hips, like a gardener reaching into the soil. I thought everything was perfect then, that someone cared. How was I to know what he was after? How much can you really know when you're that young? What I did know was that Missy would figure it out. Missy was his daughter, the one who was my best friend. We met in 3rd grade, I think. We used to sit and read for hours. That's how you know you've got a real friend when you don't have to talk. She knew everything about me, everything true, but I didn't want to say. I remember at high school graduation, underneath the bleachers, he grabbed me, the most public we ever got. His hand was a cleaver beneath the folds of my robe, making my legs bow to the sides. I saw Missy watching, pain flashing in her eyes. This is a lot for me to be telling you. You're a keeper. You still have a motion for the tab. You say something like, "You can't be responsible for knowing that when you're not an adult." Swoon. And then you tell me about your teacher, the one you had freshman year in high school, the one who paid special attention to you, but it got weird and the other boys teased you, saying you and she had a special relationship. Yeah, but it's not the same. Not at all. Did she bust in on you in the bathroom just so you knew she was watching? Did you see her standing outside of your dorm room in the middle of the night? Did she send threatening letters to that one boy in your poetry class sophomore year in college? Did the attention make you drop out of school, take a job as a night shift CVS cashier, spend all your time in a basement apartment? Now your eyes are shifting. You rock on your bar stool. You mumble something about having to get up early to go to the gym. I've done it again. Would you understand if I told you how bad it got? I'd stopped taking my mom's calls, quit going to work, quit eating. My body became a raisin, dried, shriveling into itself. The day it said April 24th on my phone, a bang at the door, and there he was. Malcolm opened the car. I didn't hesitate. I stepped right in, a beast and a lion tamer heading into a ring. I was a mole, burrowed into a big coat, hood pulled tight over my face so I couldn't see the sky, where we were going. Once we got there, it didn't take much to hold me hostage in his bunker. Well, it was his lake house, but it might as well have been a prison cell. This is too much for you. You've asked for the tab, and I'm frozen. I don't know what to do, but will you please stay? Please? I want to beg you, but I can't say words, so I put my hand on your forearm. You won't even look at me. I'm that horrible. What if I told you that I got over it, that I'm strong, that I got through it, that he can no longer prey on anyone? You jerk back like you've caught yourself before falling, dodging my words like ninja stars. You reach for your wallet, your credit card, cash, $10, $20, $100, anything to get you away from the crazy girl, me. It's not what you think, I promise. I don't have a violent bone in my body. I just get sad. When Malcolm kept me captive, I would look out and see this pristine lake, lush trees, sweet songbirds, and I'd cry and cry. Inside, the house reminded me of where I'd come from, what I destroyed. Photographs lined the walls with Missy's face, her mom, her brother. The sign over the mantel said, "Home is where the heart is," and I wanted to tear it down, dash it to pieces. But I was under strict orders from Malcolm. He locked me in each time he came, told me if I broke anything, he'd do to me what I did to it. He took out the light bulbs, put the thermostat under some kind of control. It got cold, and my limbs clattered like twigs, and I dug myself a hole in a mountain of blankets. You don't care that I'm getting to the good part. You don't even say goodbye. You just half wave and you're out of the restaurant, lickety-split. I follow because I don't know what else to do. The baby kisses turn to a deluge and we're running. You're running for me. Oh, why does this always happen? And on this day of all days, you know I'm close behind you and you keep looking over your shoulder like you're expecting me to follow. This spark of hope drives me onward. I tried to get away too when I was at the lake house. I figured out that the alarm didn't reach the attic's tiny triangle window, and somehow my weak arms and legs held me as I scrambled up a ladder into the rafters. I opened the glass, was almost out into the sunshine, the fresh air, freedom, and crash. The ladder fell out from under me and my bones cracked as I hit the floor. I came to, legs bent into a Z. Your legs make that same shape as you run, the rain turning your clothes taut like a second skin. I'm behind you and I count 5 blocks. Here we are, classic brownstone. Is this really your house? You go around to the back door. Are you trying to get away? Avert the crazy stalker? Wait, no, you're inside. Lights blink awake on the second floor, illuminating everything, cozy and intimate. I wait for you on the sidewalk. The rain will melt me, and I'll seep into the cracks of the pavement. Birds will try to slurp me up. Ants will run from my liquefying fingers. You'll never get rid of me. I'm part of the ground, of Baltimore streets, intrinsic to it all now. At the lake house, after I'd fallen from the ladder, I lay there for days, sinking into the wood floor. I fought my destiny then. I didn't want to die in that torture chamber. Each time I woke, I'd will a part of my body to move. Fingers, toes, legs, arms, every vertebrae and rib. I imagined that if I worked hard enough, my whole body could lift off the floor, overcome gravity, fly out the window. Turns out I didn't have to do that. Screech! The world's lurching and swirling. How could I forget that we're on this bus on April 24th? And there you are, a few faces away, reeling from the stop too. If I was closer, you would catch me. You'd also want to know how my story ends. You can't resist, it's too good. That's why, when the rain has stopped, when night turns to day after our disastrous date, you come outside. You don't have to say anything, and you carry what's left of my melted remains up to the couch. No, your bed. No, even better, the claw-footed tub where you've drawn me a bath. You slip me into the water, press me back together with the softest of touches, my bones and joints and skin soaking everything up, the peachiness of my curves taking shape again. You'll get in the tub too, and I'll tell you the rest. One day, I woke up and heard rattling, and I knew Malcolm was upstairs. My tongue touched each tooth in my mouth, one by one, and it took so much to do that, like my tongue was concrete bubblegum. My body was done for. I'd almost accepted that my spirit would slip away when I heard the scream, shrill and wild, Malcolm. Missy clattered down the stairs, hands shaking. She tried to lift me, then dragged me, her breath heavy and labored, each step of the staircase an eternity. Upstairs, I kept my eyes shut tight so I wouldn't have to know what had happened. I crawled to the car, and she grunted as she lifted me to a seat, and we headed to Baltimore and Johns Hopkins Hospital. She dropped me off, went to park, and never came back. I learned about the city from my hospital bed, from Googling it, like I told you before. That was years ago. Malcolm? I'm too scared to find out. If he is dead, well, Missy's too good to let them find a body. But that's for another day, another time. Today we're still on this bus, and maybe you're not like all the others. As you walk by me, I turn in step with you. If there's one thing I've learned, the end of one story is just the beginning of another. Our fingers brush, and I want to take your hand. You have no idea yet how much I already know.